reiterate what Maddie is saying. Once again, as a former career coach, I highly encourage you guys to turn on your cameras, to rename yourself with your first and last name if you haven't already done that. All this is part of your, making your first impression, and I'm hoping that to work with a lot of you guys if possible. Um, so, with that, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Um, can you guys see this okay?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. iPhone, change your name. We don't know who you are. All the iPhones out there, we want to
Oh,
know who you
hello.
are.
I'm Nadia. I don't know if you see me. I'm Nadia Mac Bellevue.
Nice to meet you, Nadia. Thank you for introducing yourself. Um, so, whoops, I think I shared the wrong screen. You guys can see this now. So, welcome. I'm Danielle. I am the founder of Rosetta Languages, and we are a translation and interpretation company. We're based here in the Boston area. Um, just by a show of hands, how many people know the difference between what translation and interpretation are? Okay, a few people. Very good. Awesome. Anyone, feel free to unmute yourself and just speak up, and you can tell us what is the difference between translation and interpretation?
Well, I'm not able to open my camera today, but I work as an interpreter already.
Amazing.
And interpreting is about oral communication, and translation is about writing.
That is absolutely correct. And tell me your name and what languages you interpret
Yes,
for.
my name is Anne Boisard, and my first language is English, and my second language is French. I mean, my A language is English, second language is French, and the C language is Italian.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Yes, that's absolutely correct. So translation is dealing with writing, interpretation is dealing with spoken or signed language. Um, now, Rosetta languages, what is our unique angle to this work? Our work, we base it on our four axioms. Always responsive, always awesome, always human, and always accessible. And I want to talk a little bit about what that means for you as an interpreter working with us. We're looking for people who embody these values. So, in terms of responsiveness, we're looking for people who are quick to respond to emails, to texts, telephone calls, WhatsApp. We use WhatsApp a lot to communicate in our team. Um, and also people who are um, hungry and eager to take assignments, who have got a lot of availability. And I'll talk a little bit more about that and kind of the nature of the work here. Always awesome has to do with, us always being holding ourselves to the highest standards, always want to learn more every day and get better and better at the craft that we do. Um, our hiring process is a bit rigorous, I can say, that we do a full evaluation of your interpretation skills where it'll basically be like a real job. We'll be observing you and, seeing how the communication goes. So we're looking for accuracy, completeness. Are you able to convey the tone, the emotion? Are you able to maintain clear communication and follow the professional protocols of using the first person when you're speaking, or asking for clarification when you need to, things like that. Um, Always human. We value the human touch in everything we do, and this is even more important nowadays in the age of AI. We are leaning in more heavily into what makes us unique a as a team that's very much based on human translators and human interpreters. So when we're going there to interpret, you're also thinking about how you're making the person feel. How are you establishing that trust between them? Are you smiling? Are you friendly? Are you warm? Um, and finally, always accessible has to do with designing all our services to be really easy for people to use, no matter what their age, their level of, computer literacy, whatever it may be. All right. Um, so I already talked a little bit about what we're looking for in an interpreter. I don't know why I've got this red line here. I guess I was accidentally scribbled on my slide. Um, but we're looking for kindness, for warmth, for professionalism. Um, we're looking for a native level or near native level fluency in both English and the whatever language or languages you'll be working in. We're looking for people who've got enough availability to take assignments when they come up. And finally, we're looking for someone who's either has completed professional interpreter training or is willing to get trained. You don't have to have that training to work with us. We care a lot more about your skills than about what certifications and papers you hold. But if you haven't gotten previous professional interpreting training, we definitely would like you to complete that, and we will share with you some opportunities to get it at a very discounted rate. Um, so let me pause there and um, let me stop first, see what questions folks have.
If anyone has questions, they can either unmute themselves and ask, or they can put it in the chat.
Also, Diama, Wolof is a language we definitely are looking for. So please, please apply. Wolof is one that we definitely need more local interpreters for. Deborah, what languages are we looking for right now? So I'm going to answer that question, but actually first I'm going to answer a question that wasn't asked, but um, I think I should explain it a little bit more, something about the nature of our work as interpreters. Um, we generally, at least not so far, we don't hire any full-time or part-time positions. All of our work is as freelancers. So what does that mean? E- Everybody here know what is a 1099 role? Or give me a raise of hands if you know what a 1099 is. Stefania, awesome. Um, so basically, for anyone who's not familiar, yeah, contract, exactly. It's different from like a regular job where you have, let's say 40 hours or 20 hours or however many hours a week. And your employer um, will take out taxes from your paycheck and all of that. 1099 contract work is different. It means that basically you're working for yourself. Um, I cannot, or Rosetta Languages cannot tell you you have to be here, um, you know, every day at a certain time because you're not an employee of the company. You're a freelancer. Um, which means, so what that means is when we have a job, we'll reach out and we'll send it out to interpreters who um, match that language that we're looking for. And we'll say, hey, we got a job for Wolof tomorrow at 3 p.m. for 2 hours. Are you available? And you can say yes or you can say no. Again, because you're not an employee, you're not required to ever accept the job. That being said, once you say yes, you are expected to show up, obviously, and be there and complete the assignment as agreed upon. And that's probably the number one thing in professionalism is we're looking for people who are reliable, who are going to arrive 15 minutes early to meetings, etc. So back to the question, what languages we're looking for? We're looking for all languages right now. We recently got a contract with the state of Massachusetts, and we're looking for people who are available for in-person jobs across the state of Massachusetts. Right now, most of our interpreters are kind of in the Boston area or, close to Boston, Metro Boston, North Shore, and we would love to have interpreters, more interpreters in all parts of the state. So we still need more here in the Boston area where 90% of our work is, but we need more interpreters also in Central Mass, Western Mass, Southern Mass, everywhere in the state. Um, and we are looking for all languages that, obviously, when I say I need a language, it doesn't mean that I have necessarily got a lot of work for that language. For example, even for Wolof, um, I need Wolof because I know I've gotten requests for it before, and I know we don't have a lot of interpreters for Wolof, but we don't get requests for it a lot. Probably once every couple months, something like that. For languages like Spanish, Portuguese, Haitian Creole, we get requests all the time. Those languages are very common. Merland, Haitian Creole, Western Mass, yes, definitely apply. We need more Haitian Creole interpreters in other parts of the state. Um, yeah, that's as far as what are some high demand languages. So I mentioned Spanish, Portuguese, and Haitian Creole are where we get the most work from, but the ones where we probably have the biggest gaps for are the languages that are right after those, and that we still get a lot of requests, but we don't have as many interpreters. Mandarin, Cantonese, Khmer or Cambodian. What else? Korean sometimes, Vietnamese. Um, and then as we grow, I expect we'll be seeing a lot more requests for the languages that are less common than that. Arabic, yes. French sometimes. But really, we're looking for, like I said, all languages. We're looking for the rare languages too, for African languages, for Asian languages, East Asian, South Asian. We're looking for indigenous languages. Even, for example, we got a request a couple months ago for a language I'd never even heard of before, called Bassa, from Liberia. And it was just one job, but it was a big job. It was 4 full days. Um, so yeah, hope that answers your question a little bit there about the languages. Regarding the difficulties surrounding the TPS issue, what answers do you have for people currently affected by this administrative decision? Thank you for that question. I can, if you're asking about can you work with us, the answer is as a 1099, we do not need to check your employment authorization. We just need to have a taxpayer ID number. So as long as you've got a taxpayer ID number, we will not ask you about your documentation status, and you don't need to tell us about your documentation status. Um, and yeah, I'm very, very sad about this decision. It's a complete disaster for not only for Haitians and Syrians, um, but for everyone in our state, and I think for our whole country, because it's really going to hurt our economy and our workforce. I wish I had more answers, but it's something I'm very, very upset about. Yeah. Are you looking for interpreters during the day or all shifts? All shifts. Probably during the day is where we have the biggest need, again, because a lot of people do work full-time jobs, and that's where we're going to have the biggest gaps. We get evening jobs tend to be simultaneous interpretation for the most part. So if you have that skill set, or if you think you can learn that skill set, that's where we get a lot more evening and weekend jobs. Um, Let me see what other questions I got in here. And if any of my answers are not specific enough, feel free to ask the question again or unmute yourself and ask if I didn't answer it good enough. What is requested documentation for the job? So we will need a W-9, which is basically, it's very easy form. You just need to have your name, your address, and a taxpayer ID number. That can be a social, but it doesn't have to. It can also be an ITIN number, an individual taxpayer ID number, or a employer identification number if you've set up, a business for yourself or something like that. And then we'll need your bank account information so we can pay you. So that's routing and account number. We pay people through direct deposit. Um, we'll need your resume. I think that's about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need. You'll send us invoices when about once a month for all the jobs you completed in that month. Um, so yeah, that's about it for documentation. What about remotely? We do video and over the phone work as well as written translation. So that is potentially an option. That's not where my big need is right now, though. My big need is for in-person interpreters more than anything else. Um, and maybe for on demand, on demand means you get paid per minute and you take phone calls and in the future video calls. For that, yes, we are looking for more people for that as well. Um, but the thing about on demand is you only get paid when calls come in. And so I don't know, it's kind of a trade-off depending on your language. It might not be very worthwhile if you're in the US. If you're outside the US, depending on your language, it could be very worthwhile because we pay the same rates. So, um, yeah. Okay. Do you also hire remote outside of the US? Yes, we do. Again, mostly for on-demand. Looks like you are a Spanish interpreter. We don't have need for on-demand for Spanish at the time, but that could change in the future. We also do virtual simultaneous. If you do simultaneous, you can reach out to us. So that could be an option. Arabic and French, yes. Lingala, absolutely. Yes, we definitely need Lingala. We've gotten requests for Lingala before. We were unable to fill. So, Harmony, if you can reach out and apply with us, that would be fantastic. Southern Mass, Haitian Creole, absolutely. Yes, please, Nadia. Thank you. Um, for interpretation jobs that are done outside of our place of residence, do we get extra compensation for transportation costs? As a general rule, we do not cover transportation costs. We have our hourly rate competitive enough in the market that I believe it should cover, the transportation costs. There may be exceptions if we get a job that's like really, really far away and you're the only person who can cover it. That may be negotiable, but our general rule is no. We pay a flat hourly rate for in-person jobs with a 2-hour minimum. Um, and if the job is canceled within 24 hours, you can still get paid for the job. But we do not cover parking, travel, mileage, anything like that. No need to relocate. I don't know, Galaxy, depends where you are, but we're looking for people in Massachusetts. EIN number, yes, is good. You can use that to fill out a W-9, absolutely. What kind of interpretation do we provide, Nivaldo? Documents, that would be translation technically. We do that. We do interpretation for meetings. We do over the phone, on-demand interpretation, all of that. iPhone Turkish, yes, we absolutely need Turkish. Please apply. Monica, the recording will be sent to attendees. I believe, Maddie, you said that you can send it out. Excellent. Moise, I would like to put myself forward for Haitian Creole, French, and Spanish. Amazing. Please get in touch. Yeah, we love working with polyglots. Who sets the payment rate? I love this question, Manel. Um, Generally, for 1099 jobs, the contractor puts it, but we actually have set our rates to be equitable between all our interpreters, at least for um, our interpretation service. For translation, because we do a lot of work more with people internationally, generally the translators are the ones proposing their rates. However, for interpretation work, I can tell you that our current rates range from $50 to $100 an hour. For consecutive interpretation, it's from 50 to 75 based on experience. So if you're less than 1 year of experience It starts at 50. And if you're 1 to 2 years of experience, I believe it's 60, and then more than 2 years, it's 75. And for simultaneous, 75, and then it goes up to 85, and then up to 100. Um, that being said, um, we may have larger contracts coming in where we have to set a more competitive rate for our customers. Those jobs will have lower rates likely, but we'll probably have a lot more work. So there's kind of a trade-off. We may have jobs that we need people who can work at $40 an hour, for example. Um, but like those would be for high volume type of work and would probably be for our more common languages for, excuse me one moment while I plug in my laptop so it doesn't die. And that would probably be for Spanish, Portuguese, and Haitian Creole primarily, because those are the language where we expect to have those high volume. Um, okay. Pay rates. I'm all in Haitian Creole and French. Excellent. Okay, how can I contact you? This is the most important question anybody has asked. Let me drop the link here in the chat. One moment while I bring it up. And this is the link for in-person interpreters in Massachusetts. So I heard some people who are looking for other kind of roles, please do not fill out this. Your application will not be responded to unless it is for Massachusetts in-person jobs here. So let me drop this one in the chat.
While you're doing that, I also saw a question earlier, and
Yes.
forgive me if I missed your answer. I don't think we addressed it, but the training to be the translator interpreter training, what does that entail, and like, is there a cost associated with that?
Yes. Excellent question. So there are many, many different interpreting courses you can take out there. Um, Most of them are focused on medical or legal interpretation. Um, and a medical interpretation certificate is what I recommend that will give you, first of all, medical interpreting is where the vast majority of interpreting work is. So if you're new to the field, that's where I would start. Um, Even though we at Rosetta don't do a lot of medical interpreting, that certificate is completely fine for any kind of consecutive interpretation you will be doing with our team. It will cover all of the basic interpretation ethics, protocols, um, all of that that is really critical to be a professional interpreter. Um, so, um, with the medical interpreting certificate, there's a lot of courses out there. There are some that are in person, there are some that are online. Some courses are, like $1,000. Some are cheaper. We've got a course that it's about $350 if I remember correctly. We I didn't create the course. It's actually an interpreter in Canada who created this course, and I really liked it, and we partner with them. Um, but we offer an 80% discount if you're someone who's already applied with us and we're interested in working with you. So that means that the course cost is less than $80 for an interpreting certificate that could be $1,000 course in some places. And that course is online and pre-recorded, so you do it at your own pace. It's about 40 hours. Um, and that's for medical interpreting. But again, any kind of consecutive interpreting, it will give you the basic skills, ethical principles, um, protocols for communication. Um, that's for consecutive. For simultaneous, I don't recommend any course. I'm not looking for any course. I'm looking for just how you do on our evaluation. If you can do simultaneous interpretation, it's not something you can fake. So if you could do it, we want to work with you. We still like you to get that certificate again because for the more for the ethical side, so that we know that you're aware of all the ethical principles of what it entails to be an interpreter. Um, so yeah, and I'm happy to share the link to our course. I would say reach out to us first. We'll be in touch, and then we can, once you decide that you are interested in working with us, we're interested in working with you, then we can share you the course link with the discount that I mentioned. Um, let me see more questions we got in here. Okay. The link for the application, if you guys saw that. I know it's a lot of stuff in the chat here, so I'm happy to. I don't know, Maddie, if you can also share that with all the attendees through an email as well.
Yeah, I'll send it out in a follow-up email. I am
Excellent.
noticing, so the one you sent in the chat is for Massachusetts in-person interpreters. Are there any
Yes.
other channels of application for someone that might be?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you email me about that afterwards, I'll find those links for
Okay, perfect.
for translators and for on-demand interpretation.
Perfect. Okay, and I'll send all of those out to you guys afterwards in an email. So
That will be
if
amazing.
you miss it in the chat, it'll come from me later on.
Okay, excellent. I don't have a certificate, but I've translated before at work. Excellent. We will highly encourage you to get the certificate. Again, even if you have the skills, we want to make sure that you have the background on all the ethical principles and I say that because I've had very excellent interpreters that I've worked with before who didn't have the formal interpreting background and they made mistakes about things like impartiality, um, things that we don't necessarily cover in our onboarding because we expect interpreters to already know it. So that's why I'm looking for this. And also because a lot of our customers will require it. So we want to make sure that you guys are able to work with any job that we have. Um, the rates again for simultaneous and consecutive. Um, so consecutive is from, well, I will say if we get new contracts, we may have work that's as low as 40 an hour, but typically it's from 50 to 75, and simultaneous from 75 to 100 an hour, 2 hour minimum for both of those. And do we provide training for simultaneous interpretation as well for remote jobs? We do offer monthly, almost on a monthly basis, training and workshops on different topics, and a lot of them are related to simultaneous interpretation. For those of us who are not in Massachusetts, I will be sure to send a link to Maddie, and she will send that in the email. Thank you. Can you please explain the difference between simultaneous and consecutive interpretation? Yes. Consecutive interpretation is what you might see in a medical appointment, in a school parent-teacher meeting or IEP meeting, um, any kind of one-on-one encounter where one person speaks, then they pause, then the interpreter speaks, then the other person speaks, then they pause, and the interpreter speaks. So there's always a pause for the interpreter to talk. In consecutive interpretation requires short-term memory skills, note-taking skills, because you have sometimes the person can talk for 4 or 5 sentences. They can go on for a fairly long time, and you want to be able to capture all the information accurately and completely, and also know how to when to step in to manage the flow of the conversation if needed to ensure accuracy. Simultaneous interpretation is what you might see at the United Nations or at a conference. When like there's in a big, larger event, someone's giving a speech, and many people are attending or on a webinar. So nobody's pausing for the interpreter. The interpreter is listening and speaking at the same time. If it's in person, they're speaking into a special device, and the listeners all have headsets. If it's on Zoom, then it's via different language channels. Um, Most people consider simultaneous to be more challenging. They're both challenging in different ways. And sometimes in a simultaneous job, you may have to do consecutive for a certain part of it, which can be also very challenging. Um, I got a medical interpreting certificate. Yes, that works. That's exactly what we're looking for. Interested, interested, very interested. Can I apply even living outside the USA? Um, Yes, but it will be a separate link. And again, we may not respond as quickly depending on just what our needs are. Um, right now, our big need is for in-person interpreters in Massachusetts. Um, Legal interpretation, yes, if you have a legal course, that works for us. Do we provide the devices? We do provide the devices for simultaneous interpretation. However, if you have your own, that is fantastic because we could rent them from you and you can make more money that way. Um, do you train people for the certification? The certification is something you complete on your own. It To get the certification, there's not a test or something. I mean, there might be like, quizzes on the content, but it's not something that you really like. The certification is the training. Um, and sorry, I should say it's not a certification, it's a certificate because there are certifications in our field as well. That is not required to work with us, but you can get certified as a medical interpreter through CCHI. Um, that's a much rarer qualification. It's not required to work with us. We just require completion of a 40-hour medical interpreter certificate or equivalent. Um, but we do provide trainings, like I said, on about a monthly basis for anyone who wants to join. Um, and even if you do our eval, we'll give you a lot of training and feedback on the eval itself. So yeah, about what happens once you fill out a form. So next step is someone from our team will call you to do a phone screening where they're going to be basically observing your communication skills, make sure that your English is, strong enough and fluent enough, um, professionalism, warmth, all of that, and that you're available for the jobs that we have. And then if all that goes well, we'll schedule a Zoom call where we're going to observe you doing interpretation. All right. Mary is looking for remote simultaneous. Yep, we will send the link. Excellent. I think I answered all of the questions that are here. If anyone has more questions, feel free to unmute yourself and speak up or just drop them in the chat.
While we're paused here, I will say one thing about how ABN does referrals to organizations like this. So we do our best to work with people to refer them to other organizations for employment. So in order to do this, we do request that people are enrolled in our skilled immigrant certification program. I know a number of people that are here today. I see a couple of you that I think are enrolled in the program. Um, so you guys are familiar with it, but for anyone who might not know what this program is, it is a 5-stage program where we are essentially giving people some of the skills that they need to be prepared to enter the US workforce. So a couple of these things include doing resume review, writing cover letters, interview preparation, and then you do get a few free training. The whole program is free, but you get a few free trainings. So there's a workplace readiness training, digital skills, and a project management training. And we put people through this program. So like I said, we can prepare them to go in front of US employers. And if people enroll in this program and complete the first 3 stages, they are eligible to get a referral from ABN. So if you're here today and you're enrolled in the program already and you are interested in working with Rosetta Languages, we can give you their name and say that you're enrolled in the program and we can act as a referral for you. If you are not enrolled, but you want us to act as a referral, you can go ahead and enroll today and get through those 3 stages, and we can do that for you. My colleague Kriti, she actually just put the link for the program in the chat. So if this is something you're interested in, I'll go ahead and sign up for that. Also happy to answer a few questions on this if people need clarification. And Kriti, you can also jump in as well if you'd like and talk a bit about the program. She's the program manager for this, so she runs the whole thing. But if you do want to get an ABN referral for Rosetta Languages, feel free to enroll and complete the first 3 stages, and we can work with you on that. But I just wanted to put that out there ahead of time so that people are aware of how that works.
Thank you, Maddie. This job was also posted on Indeed, so if you see it there, it's the same link actually that you will be receiving from Maddie. So um, I recently posted and I highlighted our need for African languages because there's a lot of them that we're hoping to cover. Diama, I hope you apply. We're looking for Wolof. I think I saw someone here for Lingala. Definitely, we want more people for Lingala. Um, but really, we got so many languages we're looking to fill. Amharic, Tigrinya, Somali. Um, Arabic is an African language. I suppose so. We are always looking for Arabic as well. We again, I from time to time, I'm highlighting different languages based on where our biggest areas of need are. But still, please apply for Arabic. We are also looking for more interpreters for all of our languages. As long as you're in person in Massachusetts, we've got a big need to expand for all languages. Yeah. What other questions do folks have? Don't be shy. Lisa, go ahead. I see your hand up, Lisa. If you want to unmute yourself. So I'm not sure if you're saying something, you're still on mute. Saw you unmute and then you muted again.
Ready. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yes, please go ahead.
Appreciate it, appreciate it. I am a native Swahili speaker, and you've been talking about African languages. It is an African language with very many dialects, and thank God I am very I command all the dialects. Do you ever
Amazing.
have requests for Swahili at all?
We do. Yes, please apply. We definitely would love to have more Swahili interpreters as well.
Okay, I'm both certified in the legal area and the medical as a medical interpreter. Just
Amazing.
curious.
Absolutely
I'm
amazing.
just
Yes, yeah,
curious.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Where are you located?
I live around in the greater Boston area.
Amazing. All right. Yeah, we're looking forward to receiving your application.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Other questions? And again, I will emphasize that we are recruiting for all languages. So even though I've highlighted some that are particularly high need, we're still recruiting for all the rest. Again, mainly for Massachusetts in person. Valerie, go ahead.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I was eating and I turned my camera. I turned off my camera. I was eating, so I'm sorry. I should
Oh,
not, but
good.
I worked last night, so I need to have some calorie. So
That's
my
good.
question is, I would like to start ASAP.
Okay, what languages?
I speak Haitian Creole. I speak
Amazing.
French too, fluently.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
And where are you located?
I am located in the southern Massachusetts.
Okay, fabulous.
So yeah.
Fill out the form. Our team will be in touch.
Okay, where should I find the form? In the chat?
I'll drop it here in the chat once again. Yep, I'm dropping it here. So anybody who wants to copy it right now, so you have it on your screen, you won't have to wait for Maddie to send it to you by email. Um, yeah, actually, you guys can fill it out right now, even as we speak. It's quite quick. You're just going to fill out your name, your contact information, your languages, probably something about how much experience you have, and upload your resume. So that will be, I think that's pretty much all that. Oh, and you'll say, do you have a certificate or are you willing to get one? Please say yes, either you have one or you're willing to get one. Because some people, they fill out the form and they say, I don't have the training and I'm not willing to. That's like automatically disqualifying yourself. So don't do that. Um,
Yeah.
if you don't have the certificate, you should be open to getting the training. So the form for remote interpreting. Let me see if I can find it real quick here while you guys are filling that out for the in-person people. I don't know if we have anyone here looking to do translation work, but I have the form for translators. If
All
anyone
of you can put all of them in the chat,
will
please.
do, will do. Okay. And translators can be anywhere. All right. Um, Let me see. And then this is for OPI, VRI. For translation, we really don't have a established rate. The translator proposes their per word rate to us. Um, Most of our translators are outside of the US. So the rates are not for people in the US are not like it's not super high unless you're very, I can say like efficient and can do a lot of translation in a short amount of time. Um, the translation rates basically, so every translation we do is a team of two people, a translator and a reviewer. Um, so total between the translator and the reviewer, the maximum that we can pay is 15 cents per word. So it means that the translator and reviewer, each of them is making, let's say, on average, 7.5 cents per word. Sometimes it could be more. The translator could be making more. The reviewer could be making a little bit less. Um, but just to give you kind of a ballpark estimate of what translation rates look like. Um, and for OPI VRI, we pay per minute. Um, our current rates are $1 per minute. In the future, unfortunately, those rates may go down at some point in order for us to be more competitive, since it seems that we are a lot higher than other companies in the market. And but for now, that's what they're at, is $1 per minute. Um, so yeah, can we apply for all the positions? Um, you may, however, if you are in person, I would apply for that. And then when we talk to you, you can let us know that you're interested in the other things, and um, we can save you some work that way. So yeah. Um, so those are all the links, Maddie, actually, right there. So there's the first one I shared is in person. That's the most important. I'll just do it again in person. Um, and then we've got the translators and the OPI VRI link. Grace, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. For some reason I could not get the chat. Can you send me the link?
Maddie will send it by email afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Thank
you
you so much.
yeah, you'll get an email from me in like probably an hour or so with all the information.
Thank you so much.
But
Let me see a show of hands. How many people have already filled out one of the forms or are in the process of doing it? I'm curious. Manel, thank you. Anyone else filled out the form already? iPhone, thank you. Jordy, thank you. Amazing. Moise, excellent. Afrânio, do we hire Brazilian Portuguese? Um, Brazilian Portuguese is one of our top three languages. Spanish, Portuguese, and Haitian Creole are top languages. So yes, we are looking for Brazilian Portuguese interpreters across Massachusetts. If you are in Massachusetts, definitely apply. Um, if you're not, we probably don't have a big need for translators or for OPI-VRI right now. But if you are in Massachusetts, we definitely have a big need. Is the OPI form also for remote simultaneous interpreting? Oh, that's a good question. Let me see if we do have a separate form for remote simultaneous. Um, I will say yes because it says OPI VRI. So yeah, that would be the the most appropriate one for you to fill out, Anne. And Manal, I think Kriti responded to your question here. Oh, perfect.
does anyone else have any further questions or need any help with applications or anything, or everything self-explanatory? And again, I will send out all of those links in my email. So if you miss any of them by whatever chance, you'll get them in an email from me soon. I'm also recording this session, like I said, so I'll send the recording as well if you need to go back and listen to any of the information. But does anyone else have further questions?
Yes, may I know if you work with translators without borders, is it anything to do with your organization as well or not? I don't think so.
No, when I don't think we've worked with them before. I've heard of them.
Okay,
Yeah, but no, I don't think we've worked with them before.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'll stick around.